name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants 5th edition homebrew campaign.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Spore Druid, and she is just a little bit obsessed with mushrooms.
Hi, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. I'm a wildfire druid who's on a quest to be the very best there ever was.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I play Harry Harrington, the Harrengon, the roguish merchant with the heart of gold.
My name is Christian. I'm playing Bartholomew, the romantic dancing Owlin, Paladin of devotion.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be playing Niles Silverwind, the Owlin, Way of the Sympathy Monk.
Hey guys, I'm Jared. I play the character of Threign, the boisterous frost giant, the Goliath, path of the giant Barbarian.
Hello there, lovely listener. This is just a warning to let you know that this episode of Return of the Giants may contain adult language or adult themes. Hello, hello! Greetings! Welcome back, everybody. It's wonderful to see all of your gorgeous faces once again joining us for our Return of the Giants campaign. We are ready. We are raring to go, and we have an awesome session coming very soon. A few quick announcements before we jump in. Unfortunately, Simon is unable to join us tonight. He's got some family stuff he has to attend to. Obviously, we have our rule in D&D that life always comes first, and I'm really pleased that Simon is actually obeying those rules. So we won't see Simon tonight. I'll play the character of Ember. Hopefully we'll see him next Wednesday. It's all looking good that we will see him next Wednesday, so fingers crossed, all sorted for him a little bit later tonight. Jared is joining us. He is on his way. He's just got a little bit of a migraine. I believe he has taken some Panadol and is now currently just quickly scoffing some water and getting himself into a slightly darker room. He may or may not have his camera on tonight. Personally, if he's got a migraine, I'd be recommending an eye mask lying down on the bed and doing this via his phone, but we'll see how he's feeling. Or not at all would be my also backup, but he sounded really keen to join, so I won't push him out if he's really keen to come. So you may see Jared's face tonight, you may not. But the rest of us are all here. We are all excited to jump back in. The only fun announcement I have to share is that the gameplay of Synergy, which is that sort of like survival city builder on an alien planet, is out. I can see you guys have been really enjoying it. It looks like you've enjoyed the slightly longer format session of that, so fantastic. Perfect, Jared. Perfect timing. Welcome. Oh, we can't hear him. That's not a good sign, is it? Oh, I see green.
Working?
Yes, there we go.
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. No, you're all G.
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
No, all good. We were just doing our pre-announcements before the before we jump into the session. Dave's the enforcer of the rules. I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. Dave's like, fuck you, bitch.
Shut up, Dave.
Oh.
Fair.
No, so thank you everybody who's been checking out that playthrough of Synergy. It looks like you guys have enjoyed the slightly longer format rather than chopping it into like 20-minute episodes, having it all just as one solo playthrough. I'm happy to do that from now on as all of the single player games I check out. It's a lot easier for me to edit, so I'm absolutely happy to stick to that, and I will do so as long as you guys continue to give that feedback that you like it. And if you change your minds, just let me know and I'll switch it out. If there's any other single player games you'd like me to check out, send them on through and I will absolutely give them a go and record them. Obviously, there's some really exciting games, big games coming soon. Ali and I, just before we jumped on, were talking about Dragon's Dogma 2, which looks amazing. Very, very excited for that.
Yeah, that looks sick.
Just wish it wasn't so expensive.
How much is it?
It's over $100 on Steam, Australian.
Damn.
But that's where we're at now.
That seems to be the common trend now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was saying that was Valhalla, right? I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla was 100 Australian for the base game, 120 or 30 for the deluxe, and then 180 for the gold. So I think this
Diablo
is
4 was roughly like $100.
Yeah. How much was Baldur's Gate 3? No, it wasn't, because I bought it in early access, so it was only like $40, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's have a quick look now. I'll check out what
I think it was like 80.
Yeah.
That pricey? Among Us.
So
Among
so Baldur's Gate is 89.
Yeah.
But it's currently 10% off, so that's why it's 80.
Yeah. Okay.
Back in 8, the base edition was 105.
Oh wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Man. So that's, I guess
That's dollary dues.
dollary dues, Australian dollars, or
Yeah.
dollary dues as we call them.
Australian dollar isn't doing crash hot either.
It's
just
not
so
doing
you know.
crash hot. No, it's not at all.
Yeah,
Has
it's
it
very
ever
well.
really?
No,
Right.
not really.
One time
No.
it was higher than the US dollar.
Yeah, that's true.
One
One
time,
point
one
history.
time.
Is that when I was like a
It's like
child though? Like
15 years ago?
yeah,
maybe
so,
20
okay,
years
I literally my joke was correct. That's just
Oh,
yeah.
so you were a child 15 years ago.
I'm still a child.
I mean,
now.
I was a teenager 15 years ago, but yeah.
I'm turning 30 this year, so yeah, I would have been 15 halfway.
We were all
I'd have actually been
children.
early.
Yeah,
though.
right.
25, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Look, it's okay. It's all
We're
right.
all old.
It kind of makes sense. We are.
That's a sad realization, Jared.
Oh wait,
we
Chris, are you just turning 30? So you're not 30 yet?
Yeah. Yeah, this year.
Oh, you're young.
Oh, okay. So it's all good
You're on the
for
stream,
now
baby.
until you hit 30, and then it's all downhill from there.
Everything
baby.
gets sore.
I turned 30 only 2 months ago, and look what's happened to me. I mean, really, it's just disgusting. So
I've already bought one of those 4-legged walking canes.
perfect.
Wow.
You're prepared. You want the tennis balls on the underside as well
I
to
just
give you
need to
some.
buy- yeah, I
extra.
just need to buy the tennis
you need
balls.
the tennis balls.
Dude, I got the mobility scooter, man. It's ready to
Yeah.
go. Like, yeah, it's all falling apart.
See, I call it a moped, but it's technically that, yeah.
It's oh my god. Obviously, if you're over 30, it's not life is not all over. It's fine.
It's fun to joke about it though.
It's fun to joke about it though. Yeah, no, we'll definitely have a bit of fun with some more single player games as they come out. Dragon's Dogma 2, despite being expensive, I think will be a lot of fun. And I mean, look, inflation's a
Just give it
thing. Can't pretend it's not going to affect games too.
I would honestly just give it a week or two. Like,
Oh,
for
yeah.
Dragon's Dogma,
I
that's what I
agree.
do now with every game I
Yeah.
play.
100%.
Just to see if it actually crashes or burns, because it normally crashes.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, most games that are released nowadays are so big and so expansive that they cannot possibly have play tested them to the level that's required. And so the day one patch is almost mandatory for most big games now. And I get it. I understand.
I just feel like there's been a lot more disappointing games. But then by saying that, there has been a few
Some legendary,
games that are starting
fantastic.
to turn it around again. I think
Yeah.
I think the indie games are sort of really coming in stride at the moment.
Yeah, I would agree with this. I think your AAA titles are probably using the same like tried and true formula that isn't really that innovative,
It's
but works.
Well,
but
the
works-
Ubisoft formula, they haven't changed it in almost 2 decades. And it's
Well, yeah,
just-
but then you've got developers that did Palworld, still like 100,000 concurrent users on stream still, which is amazing. You've got Helldivers 2, which is a pretty small dev team.
it's not a big dev team. I couldn't believe how
And
small
I
the dev
have
team was.
I have played 80 hours of that game.
And you know what? Like I was talking to one of my colleagues at work today. I think it's such a great idea because it's such a good game in the fact that like the story it shows, it doesn't tell. The gameplay is very intuitive, and you like the more you play, the more you
Man,
kind
the
of get used to
gameplay
it.
loop is so addictive.
Yeah, and like
Everything
and the way
hits hard.
But like even the way that they handle like the battles and like how things sort of progress naturally,
Dude.
like it's such a
Do you
good.
play that?
No, I don't. I watch a lot of streams. I've played a
on
little
Steam.
bit, but yeah, I haven't.
Get
really...
on Sim, play
Nah.
with me, and
It's cross-platform. I'll get it on PS5. We can play.
yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Get
I
in.
was
Come
saying
on,
just
freedom
before
never
we
sleeps,
started,
brother.
I also might have some spare time coming up on a weekend to do a bit of. So
I'll do a Saturday. I'll teach you boys. I'm
Oh,
like
yeah,
level.
man.
I'm level 40. I'm like.
do you want to do it like a
Shit, I'm
role
like Star
play?
Marshal.
Do you want to do it like a role play
Shit.
like we did with Phasmophobia? That was
Yeah, I'll
really
put on like
fun.
a-
So we
American
role
accent.
played
That'd be sick.
Phasmophobia where like Jared and Harley knew what they were doing, and Dave and I pretended that we were interns on like an electrician
That's pretty fun.
internship program,
That's
and
so funny.
it was really fun. To date, one of my favorite playthroughs of a game was our Phasmophobia internship, and Dave and I we'd walk in and the lights would be flickering. We'd be like, Mr.
No,
Jared,
nothing to
Mr.
worry about,
Harley.
boys.
It's,
It's just an electrical problem at the house.
I think my favorite was when the first
Faulty
ghost
wiring.
appeared and like right in front of Dave. Dave's like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, sometimes the electricity causes flashes of light, and you can imagine people
like
from your
hallucinations.
subconscious kind of like flashing back. It's very, very. It's like you just got to ignore it.
Man, the Helldivers would be fun though, man.
That'd
Like,
be a good one.
Oh yeah,
just
that'd be
constant Starship Troopers memes.
Exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Okay, you've convinced me. I think this is really funny.
Go
Let's
on.
do it. It's
I'm in.
pretty fun.
do
There's nothing I love more than badly photoshopping our faces onto artwork for the pictures. I love doing that so much. All right, we'll let you know when that's coming, but that's really exciting. That'd be lots of fun. Oh my god. That is the only
it's
fun.
actually pretty nuts. I will say quickly as well
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Eldar, the thing that's really impressed me is like it's community driven like story in a way.
Yeah.
Like the major orders have been nuts. We're being told to liberate these 2 planets and we're going to push through these other planets to get there first. So I'm not fighting the good fight tonight, but I will be tomorrow night.
Yeah.
At work,
exactly.
I feel it's what I think about it. It's getting a little worrying actually. I'm dreaming of bugs and I'm having nightmares of the boss.
I believe
What's
that is
the
the
true
point
world?
where it's a problem.
Nah, it's not that bad. I'm
Okay.
joking. I'm probably I'm making it a little bit more than it is, but it's been really fun. Like the way they introduced mechs into the game wasn't like, oh, here's
Yeah.
No, you had to go and like
Content
liberate the
drop.
planet where they were being
We had to go
manufactured.
liberate
That
the
was so
planet to get
good.
it.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Guys,
Nice.
he's starting to realize that Helldivers is the real world.
Oh my.
That sounds like treason. You need to see your
Yeah.
closest democracy officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super S does not thank you for your comments, citizen.
I had one just before arrive at my doorstep, and I had to
Yeah.
avoid being executed.
Matt made the mistake of mentioning that there might be a new faction coming to the game, which is treasonous, poisonous lies.
Yeah.
Democracy knows no enemies apart from the bugs, so
It's true.
Man.
he quickly had to turn off his camera and deal with
There
the.
is some cool stuff coming there, admittedly. There's some really cool stuff coming.
I know,
So
it
jump
looks
in,
really
boys. Spread managed democracy with me.
fun.
I love saying managed democracy. It's so stupid.
It is pretty stupid. Oh my god.
Alright.
We should start D&D.
Let's
Let me
do
do the
it.
recap. I'll get us back into the sessions. We can sort of center ourselves. We did also have a bit of a challenge at the end of the last session. Obviously, we ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger. I'm going to jump back to that moment. There is inspiration as a reward for the person who can guess the source of the noise before you see what it is.
Oh yeah.
So you all gave suggestions for what you thought it might be in chat. So we'll go and we'll see who is correct shortly. Now, let me do the recap. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, has formed a brand new team. Lyra, Niles, Harry, Ember, and Threign are delving deep below the earth into the Underdark, seeking to investigate rumours of stone giants taking over territory and arming for war. Now accompanied by Bartholomew, an Owlin taken prisoner by the Duergar, the team are on their way to Blindenstone, the last city stronghold of the Svefniblin. With the Underdark so full of danger, the team sought refuge amongst a Myconid colony in the depths of a large mushroom forest, in return eliminating a tribe of Kuatoa who had been harassing the colony. During their stay, the team learned a little more about each other. Niles and Bart realised they shared history through close connections. Lyra discovered a deeper connection to the Myconids. Ember found some secret caches of the Society of Brilliance, and Threign experienced the history of his ancestors through a giant dream. Their time resting, however, soon had to end. Gnome guides eager to return to Blindenstone to discover the fate of their comrades. The party departed the circle in 2 groups. Harry and drow fugitive Zaylin making their way towards the surface, while the rest of the group made their way deeper towards the Dark Lake. This was all in an attempt to confuse the Shadowblades, drow assassins apparently waiting to kill Zaylin on sight. Knowing the danger these assassins could pose, and that Ember's disguise wouldn't last forever, the larger group made camp just along the edges of the Dark Lake in an attempt to lure and ambush the drow. This plan worked. A captain of the Shadowblades revealed himself and requested they give up Zaylin's location, as she was a wanted criminal who must face justice. Threign, finding this situation a bit confusing, goaded the drow by insulting their matriarch, triggering a fight. With 2 drow dead and 1 fleeing, the team cast Speak with Dead on the head of the captain in an attempt to learn more about the assassins. Meanwhile, Harry and Zaylin made their way to the surface, tracing the path back along the ridge above the mushroom forest. Stopped by the drow, initially it was looking really hopeful they might be able to bluff their way past. However, when a female drow dressed in elaborate chitin armor mentioned testing for magic, Zaylin pushed Harry into the drow and fled. Watching Zaylin disappear into the tunnels with the assassins chasing her down, Harry found himself dashing after to try and save her. While able to initially get in the way and slow them down, he eventually fell to the poison drow blades. This was discovered somewhat by accident by the rest of the party, who were attempting to throw the drow off Zaylin's trail using sending stones and pretending to be the captain they had actually just killed. This, too, seemed to work, the drow agreeing to meet up with the party along the path to the Brilliant Tower, home of the Society of Brilliance. Making their way across a ruined bridge, the team were ambushed by some black slime-like creatures, corroding and damaging any weapon that touched them. Clever tactics and focused attacks destroyed the creatures, leaving the team free to continue their journey to rescue Harry. Meanwhile, Harry was doing his best to ingratiate himself with the Shadowblades, an effort that did seem to pay off. However, once the drow reached the designated meetup spot near the Brilliant Tower, Harry was tied to a stake in the open pathway and left alone. The rest of the party were guided by the gnomes to a secret tunnel entrance, and the team travelled by rail and cart to the stronghold of Blindenstone. Sneaking quietly through the hidden tunnels, the team emerged onto a platform overlooking the deserted streets below. The only sound, a gentle rustling, as if leather was scraping across stone. And that is where we left off last session. I had challenged the team, if they wanted to play along, to try and guess what the source of that might be. We had some good suggestions. From Christian, we had a Grick. Lyra, you'd suggested a Naga, was it? If I'm remembering correctly.
No, a deep dragon.
Deep dragon, that's right. And Matt, you had suggested a... what had you suggested? You suggested a bullet. Dave, did you want to have a go?
I honestly have no idea, but it's obviously a Harrengon.
Okay, Harrengon from Dave. And
Yes.
Jared, did you want to have a guess?
I actually was thinking Greek too, but then Christian said it. I didn't want to steal his thunder.
That's
so
okay.
I
You can say
abstained.
Grick as well. You can say Grick as well, because if you're
It
both right,
feels
you both
like
get
that.
inspiration.
I do think Greek.
It just means
That's
we're betting
what
on
I
the same
jumped to.
horse.
Yeah.
It's true. I think it's a Greek. It
Okay.
made sense to me.
As
So we'll find out.
As the five of you plus the three deep gnomes huddle on this upper balcony, overlooking the pathways below. Oh yeah, chat definitely join in. Hook horror from chat. Good suggestion. I like it.
Ooh.
Chat, feel free to jump in if you've got any suggestions. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The horror is just like dragging itself across the ground.
Yeah, it's got worms. You know how like dogs scoot along the ground. It's the same.
Like a
Maybe-
really showing us the
Activating
darkness of the
glands.
Underdark, like a hook horror that's been amputated, so he doesn't have hooks anymore. He's just a horror.
What if it's a hook horror that's eaten too much and it's like stomach is scraping on the floor?
It's just a hook horror with massive testicles, just dragging along the ground as it walks.
Damn. son.
Wow.
Journeys in the past.
As the five of you plus the three deep gnomes huddle together on this balcony, having sort of wound your way up through this secret series, almost like a secret train station, this hidden way station with all of the minecarts joined, protected behind very, very thick layers of stone. As you traveled your way up and out onto this balcony overlooking the city, the stronghold is eerily silent. You can see that many of the sconces, some of which contain what looks like these crystals that are being hewn and cut into very angular, almost rhomboid kind of shapes, glowing very softly, providing some light. But many of the other sconces, which look like they should be oil lanterns or maybe burning zirkwood, the fungal logs, are all extinguished. There's debris across the street in some places. Doors hanging from hinges, window shutters, gently sort of swaying in the phantom breeze that permeates the Underdark with the temperature differentials.
Question.
Yeah.
I mean, you've probably already explained this, but is there any obvious sign of damage or like any sort of like looks like there's been like an attack or something like?
Niles, would you like to roll me a perception or investigation check, your choice?
Definitely going to be a perception check.
I thought it might be.
Yes. Let's see. First roll of the night, and
It's a natural 20.
Horror!
Let's go.
It's a natural fucking
Nice.
20.
Hoot hoot, bitches!
Hoot, hoot, bitches. Let's
Spam those nat 20 emotes. Niles, as you cast your carefully curated, your powerful owl vision, scanning, looking for signs of damage and debris, you see it in droves. There has clearly been some sort of attack, and as you cast your eyes across the silent city, you can see the front gates, these massive stone gates, partially hidden into what looks like a natural rock wall, have been broken open. One of them completely flat on the ground, busted free of its hinges. The rough, rocky terrain that normally would be visible only to the outside to keep it hidden, just sitting, lying face up on the stone. The buildings have clearly been ransacked. And to your brilliance, your very powerful vision, you can see there are signs of bloodstains. One of the buildings quite close to you, down and across the street, looks like there are dark red bloodstains across the threshold leading into the building.
Shit.
What's more, I'm going to give you a bit more information about the sound. That scraping, leathery sound, it's accompanied by a strange sequence of thuds, almost the sound of large footprints, but the pattern is very quick. It's almost like bum 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 as it's walking. But these two patterns of the footprints, it's a strange noise.
Damn.
Okay. Well, that's not good. Does it sound like gauging, trying to gauge distance with this sound? Does it sound like it's relatively close to us, or in the distance, or
The
So
stronghold of it's a slithering, the sound of something dragging along the ground, but also feet dragging it forwards. The sound of footsteps coming from the same direction, almost as if something large and heavy is being dragged along the ground by many feet.
Here?
As
Oh
you,
man, you are weaving the mystery of
Niles, perfect. Niles, as you focus and listen, it's not that close, but the stronghold of Blindenstone isn't that big either. It's probably, at the moment, the way it's kind of echoing off the walls, it sounds like it's coming from a little bit behind you and to the south. If where you're facing is north, it's almost coming from like a southeast, if that makes sense. Curving around the tower that you're currently looking out from.
Right. Oh, so we're on a tower. So there's obviously
so the way station you've climbed up, you've sort of moved up to a balcony, not to the very top. It looks like this spire sort of joins to the cave ceiling high above. The gnomes sort of, as soon as they got a vantage point, they quickly guided you out onto this balcony to view the city stronghold.
I mean, I sort of relay this information back to the party, and I guess I just sort of look down at the gnomes, and I'm like, it looks like I'm sorry. Doesn't look like things are too good here at the moment. We should go down and take a closer look, but we should be on our guard. There's a noise, I can't quite make out what it is.
Well, we
somewhere
all hear
behind us.
The weird slithering, correct? That's
Yes. Do you hear that? Do you hear that thumping as well? It doesn't sound right. Could be something large dragging something. It's hard to tell. Coming from behind us, though.
abdominal hernia, if it's to be specific.
That's the massive testicles on the hook, Lyra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dragging along, bumping on the ground.
No, I will. Yes, in seriousness, I will turn to the gnomes. Well, we had a deal. It doesn't look like things are too good here. There's no signs of survivors, at least from an outward perspective. So we will be leaving soon, but what Niles is saying is correct, and we should at least do a quick assessment to see if there's anyone inside. I'd like to know the noise of whatever that is. Information is always very important when it comes to conflict.
As you say this...
guard.
Yeah, no, go, Lyra.
You really?
I was just going to say, just to sort of play devil's advocate a little bit here, the city does look like it's sort of been well attacked, and I'm honestly sort of thinking it's like, do we head back towards Harry now and then come back? I mean, he's kind of invaluable when it comes to, a lot of this more stealthing around, looking for things without, drawing too much attention. I mean, anyone has survived in this city has survived for this long, I guess, is what I'm saying. Is, like another couple of hours, they're going to be able to hold out, but at the risk of, who knows what they're doing to Harry. I mean,
And
you could be trussed up over a fire like a roast dinner for all we know right now.
I mean, I have been known to be pretty stealthy in my time. If worse comes to worse, I could do a bit of a creep around and see. But no, it's a good point. Harry would be better equipped to deal with this. I just worry that whatever situation Harry is in, if we're tired or fatigued from that encounter, it might impede our progress here when we return.
The same thing goes. I mean, if we're gonna have to fight him out, if he's, we know he's been captured by the Drow, so we're gonna have to fight him. I mean, if we have to fight our way through the city first, I mean, it's not as if we're gonna go take a good nap or want to go find Harry.
This is a good point. I think perhaps a reconnaissance, even just a quick one, would be useful, so we know what we're dealing with. I'm with Bart on this one. But
I do see what you're saying, Lyra, and I do agree with that 100%. I simply want to see what is inside. I do not want to confront it at all.
so we've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
Owen, Threign just wants to take in the gnomes for a second, see how they're doing.
yeah,
The gnomes
good point.
are looking very distressed. Gook, in particular, the young female, you can see that she's just openly weeping as she looks over the edge of the balcony, just taking it all in. You can see
So
Gobbledy
Threign-
next to her, patting her on the back, and
Yep.
Gook just she's inconsolable. Noose, on the other hand, the older gnome, you can see he's wandered over to the other side of the balcony and is peering off at something in the distance, down towards the main gates that Niles had identified earlier.
I'm gonna kneel down for a sec, get to their level. As everyone else is sort of talking and discussing, I'm gonna Threin's not the most sensitive person, but even a situation like this, I think
Yeah.
would bring on some sensitivity from even someone like him. So he's
Well,
gonna kneel down
yeah.
and he's going to talk to them. Look, it looks like a lot of doom and gloom right now. Let's be honest, but the time I've spent around you, all three of you. You guys, you know a thing or two about stealth. Look at these secret tunnels. There might be more of you alive in this city than you think. You're all small. You hide well. You have secrets. So, look, I don't know, but it could be better than it looks right now. We need to investigate, and I think the perfect person to help us with that, or creature, is our friend Harry. We need him. And together, we can come back and do this properly.
Together, we could rule the galaxy. Threign, could you make me a persuasion check with advantage, please?
Okay, I will need that because it's not.
That was
his
very
strong
persuasive. That was very, very
suit.
persuasive.
6 though.
Oh no!
Oh, I accidentally rolled a Constitution save. That was just a friend.
3 and
My
6.
bad.
Ah, Threign. I mean, you watch as Gook sort of turns, but she's not really hearing what you're saying. You can see
Yeah,
that
I get it.
the anxiety, the fear, that grief, it's already kind of gripped her. And you can see that kind of hollow look behind her eyes. Your words aren't sinking in. Gobbledy kind of nods a little bit, pats her on the back, and goes like, "Look, I'm sure this got away. Like, it's not going to be everyone, just most of them." Sort of then falls quiet, seeing her just turn to him, tears pouring down her face, and then he just shuts up and then sort of shakes his head and pats her on the back again.
I give him a deep scale. That's not how.
Just quickly, you said that Noose was looking at the gate that I sort of looked at.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of walk up behind Noose, and I notice that he's watching, and I guess I kind of meet his gaze, or kind of focusing on what he's watching it, and I sort of I turn to him and say, I see that you're looking at that gate. It seems unusual to me as well. What could have caused something like that? Do you have any ideas?
I don't know what could have knocked down the gates. That they're 40 foot high and made of solid rock. We've carved them carefully on the outside to make them look like they're just part of the cavern wall. It looks like it was just battered down in a moment. Whatever it was, it would have been a surprise. I hope everyone's okay.
I hope so too.
I've never seen anything like this. I don't think this was the Durgar. I mean, sure, they've got the firepower to knock this stuff open. I mean, blasting powder? Have you ever heard of blasting powder before? It's like a black granular material. It's highly flammable. Explosive, even.
Okay, this is a bit of a lore question.
Yeah.
Aristocracy, we are a slightly more, I guess, oriental flavored.
You would use
fireworks?
gunpowder for fireworks.
Hey,
Yes.
okay.
Absolutely.
I actually raise an eyebrow or a feather, and I sort of go, "Oh, yes. Back home, we do have fireworks. Actually, we use them for festivals and celebrations."
I'd heard that the gnomes of the surface could use it as well. Knew the recipe for making it, but it's a deep gnome recipe. It comes from us, from our people. And the Durgar, when they take us as slaves, I mean, long ago they got the recipe as well. They've been making it. For them to have busted down this gate, there should be scorch marks all over those walls, all over the stone. It should be so visible that they've done something. But I can't see a single mark of soot. I can't see anything. No sign at all that they did this. I don't think it was the deep dwarves, the Durgar.
My eyes squint a little bit in thought, and Niles just kind of starts contemplating a little, and if it wasn't the Durgar, what else could it be? Something large enough, because it seems like it's most likely brute forced its way in.
I don't want to suggest this too loudly, but you don't think it's the stone giants, do you?
My eyes, Niles' eyes light up.
I mean, we came to warn you that they were expanding their territory, taking people. I mean, if this was them, they've moved far quicker than we ever could have predicted, and we're all in danger. Everyone in the Underdark is.
I nod, very much in agreement. I think you could be right. I didn't want to come to that conclusion. I thought the stone giants were still a way off, but they're advancing this quickly.
This means they went through the Durgar. I know they've got some sort of agreement worked out, but I didn't think they were allowed through Durgar territory. If this was them, they've moved a lot quicker than they ever should have. A lot quicker than we could have predicted.
This changes everything. I need to let the rest of the party know this.
I should say it might not just be them. There's other dangers down here, creatures of the Underdark that could do this. A bullet, I mean, I would have thought it'd dig under, and we've got rock that we've arranged underneath that is foul tasting. We've got some essentially like oiled slate to dissuade bullets from digging up from underneath the stronghold. But if a bullet was to go through the gate, I mean, it could do that much damage. That's just one creature. There are others. Bigger, nastier, with more teeth down here.
All the more reason for us to get a bit of a closer look, if we can, of whatever's making that noise. I think it might be best if you three stay here in the safety of the tower for now while we go and have a look. And I'll see what we can report back with.
You'll probably be wanting to go and get your friend, correct?
It seems like that's the consensus, yes. I think perhaps the best bet for you lot would maybe just to be able to stay in the train system here and hide yourselves as best as you can. I don't imagine we'll be gone long. And once we have our friend, I'm sure we will come back and try and resolve things here.
Depends on what the danger is. We're pretty sneaky. Might be worth us having a bit of a look around. There are other safe houses, I guess you'd call them. Bunkers that we've built to house us in times of trouble. If we were to ever have Blindenstone fall, I think it'd be worth if we could go and check some of those out, see if the stragglers are survivors. But again, it depends on what the threat is. If the Durgar are still here, we'll stay hidden. If it's something else, we'll try and avoid it, sneak around if we can. If it is Durgar.
I think perhaps we'll go take a look and see what we can see. A bit of a reconnaissance. I think you should probably stay here, depending on what we find, and then we can make a plan of action. Then perhaps you can find your bunker or so-called safe area, and then we'll head back, find our friends, and return, and hopefully deal with whatever it is that we're facing. But again, like you said, it depends on what this thing is.
It really does. It really does. I think it's best if we keep Gook at the train station no matter what happens. She's not taking this well.
I think so. I think that would be for the best.
I'm wondering maybe even if it's worth taking her with you and getting her to stay at the end, at the other end of the line. When you get to the Tower of Brilliance, maybe staying at the train depot there to help guide you back afterwards. That way she's not going to be tempted to take any risks out in the city.
Yeah, I don't think leaving her on her own here is a wise move. She might try and do something silly. I think coming with I'm happy to have her accompany us to the end of the train line. At least that way she's not that far away if we for when we return. I think that's a good idea. Let me relay this back to the party here, and we'll take things from here.
Please.
Did any of you guys?
I'm going to assume you just share all that information.
Yeah, I share it all.
Ember sort of nods along and goes, "Makes sense to me. I'm on board."
Will the little ones be okay being here by themselves?
I think so for now. The train station here seems like it's in good tack, and it seems like it's something that they could hide in for now. I think that should be okay. But
I'm worried that they're still unsure of the same as us about what caused this. Curiosity is getting the better of me.
All the more reason for us to go and have a look, Bart. I agree we should definitely get eyes on whatever it is that we can hear and what caused it, and then we can formulate a plan from that.
Speaking of plan, I guess, are we all sort of going to travel together, or are sort of maybe Niles, I mean, with the flight, you could maybe just sort of do a flyby and see what your owl eyes see?
Yeah. I'm happy to do a bit of a circle around this tower and see what I can see on the other side. And if there's anything, hopefully I stay hidden, but at least that way I can retreat back to the tower here and we can escape.
I'm just thinking, if we get into a fight and escape's not an option, again, it's sort of... I'm definitely down for helping the Deep Gnomes, but I think right now I'm very worried about Harry.
Likewise. I think I'll do a bit of a reconnaissance. I'll have a bit of a fly around, see what I can see, and I'll relay that information back, and we can figure out what we want to do next.
Alrighty. Niles, I mean, you could even just take off from this little balcony. You're in a perfect spot to just take to the wing. I'm happy to use your natural 20 from before. Niles, as you take to the air, flying above the city stronghold of Blindenstone, you get a sense of the effort that's gone into protecting this place. There is almost a desperation to the architecture. The city itself has been camouflaged from the outside to blend in with the stone walls. The stone walls themselves are almost 5 to 6 foot thick around the entire perimeter. Wow. You can see metal has been almost embedded and set into the stone to form what looks almost like a meshwork. Chains hammered into the stone and covered and set almost magically, you would say. You've seen Lyra use mold earth.
Yep.
Stone has been flowed over these chains to create this incredibly strong structure. All of the houses, all of the buildings are multiple stories and stacked close together, but also in rows where you can see the weak points are designed to collapse onto the main streets. There are failure points built into this city that if it was to be attacked, they could crumble it on top of their attackers.
Yeah.
Your natural 20 for a total of 25 also reveals more sinister traps. You can see that there are, suspended above many of the buildings, large pots of blackish tar-like liquid. Hidden carefully away, mechanisms, gears, and clockwork hidden into the walls inside, internally into these buildings, providing what looks like a centralized defense system for the city. And given the number of sconces you've seen, all unlit, you wouldn't be surprised if there was some way to activate these sconces to provide a source of flame should this oil or this tar be unleashed upon unsuspecting attackers.
But notably, have any of these gone
None
off?
of it has been activated.
Fuck, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
What you can see as you take off, hidden from view on the tower that you're standing, below you, about a story and a half, is another outcropping, what looks like what was once a balcony in a large room, with lots of chains connecting it via gears to other sections of the tower. And as you trace these chains back, you can see they disappear into the roof and into the floor. Metal housings holding them steady. But the balcony and the room has been obliterated by a giant chunk of masonry. A section of stone embedded with those same metal chains has been slammed into the tower. And the tower itself is cracked down the side. You can see there is immense damage, but it wasn't visible. The secret staircase you took to get here, at the very heart of this building, somehow, luckily, was spared the destruction. As you drop down and fly around the edge of this stone, almost like a catapult or a trebuchet has launched this into the side of the tower.
Shit.
As you sort of fly down, keeping a closer look, you can see a scrap of bloody cloth and what looks like a mangled hand at the edge of that room, crushed and buried under the rubble, clearly gone.
Shit.
What grabs your attention, though, as you make that first turn down towards the south, is a flash of blue. Reflective, shiny, almost like light reflecting off a surface, a metallic blue surface. And as you turn your head to try and catch a glimpse of it again, you see this serpent-like form moving between two of the buildings, long, blue, serpent-like scales, catching the light from these wall sconces, these crystalline rhomboids, wall sconces, reflecting this midnight crystal blue. And as you wheel a little bit lower, coming around the side of the buildings which were blocking your view, the creature comes into focus.
Oh my god.
At first, it seems very draconic. Long serpent-like body, a large torso, head raised up above the ground, very angled, almost serpent-like head with horns jutting out from the back. 8 pairs of legs, tipped with claws, dragging this large, long, heavy body across the ruins of the outer section of the stronghold. And a very long serpent-like tail whipping behind it, crashing into the buildings occasionally. And I'm going to display
it's
in
a
chat
behair, whatever it's called.
a behir.
Yeah, but here.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's awesome.
Christian,
Oh,
your
yeah,
second guess was
yeah.
correct. Very nice. You can see this creature currently is not moving towards the tower. It seems to be moving towards a large squat building, almost like a warehouse in appearance, not stacked up high-rise style like the rest of this city stronghold, but clearly some sort of sturdy storage building. And as it approaches, you watch as it reaches with these 2 large claws and tears the doors off. Its head looking around, forked tongue, tasting the air as it examines the inside of the building. Could I have you please roll me a deception check? Not a deception, sorry, a stealth check, Niles.
Oh jeez. Yep. Okay.
11.
Oh, that's a +8 too. Oh no.
Niles.
Roll a 3. Oh my god.
Normally you're silent upon the wind. Your wings helping to mask the sounds of your wing beats, the feathers providing this soundproofing. But I'd say you're fairly distracted at the moment, and your focus is less on keeping silent and more just taking in this creature. I should also specify this creature is enormous. It is huge. It is easily 30 feet long.
You said it was dragging a body?
Its body itself is dragging along the ground. You can see the legs kind of mostly support it, but because of the rubble, it's dragging its long serpent-like body over sections of the stone and masonry, creating this almost, like leathery, scale-like sound.
Yeah, no, I get it. Niles is pretty distracted by this. This is terrifying.
Niles, your focus is on the creature below you. And at the last minute, you spy the stalactite reaching down almost towards you out of the darkness from the ceiling above. You narrowly avoid it, having to quickly flap and avoid crashing into it. But that sudden influx of movement and sound, that flapping noise, as you sort of turn and look down, you watch as the creature cocks its head and then spins around looking for the source of the noise. And suddenly its eyes lock, its head freezing, looking up at you, this flapping owl-like form in the sky above. And as it cocks its head quizzically, you watch as it slowly lowers what it had removed from the storage warehouse, an enormous barrel. And as it slowly lowers it down and places it on the ground and looks up towards you, you hear, do you speak Draconic?
Wait. Yeah, I do!
Oh! Okay.
Let's go!
You hear, what little treat comes flapping?
Oh, yeah, not any better. Not any fucking better.
Not good.
Niles, I pass over to you.
I don't know if I have a loud enough voice to reply back to this thing. And Niles isn't really thinking about a whimsical response to this.
If you shouted, you
fucking
would have a
terrible-
loud enough voice if you wanted. You would be able to shout. I mean, you're in a cave, sound carries quite well.
I am fucking scared. I'm a monk. I'm usually very tranquil. I'm usually very like, this is fine. Nah. His training didn't fucking count for this shit. He just fucking books it. I'm dashing all the way back. And
Just gone. Yep.
yeah, I just as fast as I can. Like I just zip
Niles.
around back the way I came.
As
Do you have any key points to spend?
I think you do, actually.
Did we short rest?
You've got at least one, right?
Did we short rest last session?
I don't believe so.
Don't have any because I
Okay.
used them all up in the fight.
As
Yeah,
you
short rested, 10.
fly 60 feet just straight towards the tower, basically just back the way you came. Niles, is that just...
I like to think that
Yeah.
I kind of pirouette in the sky and then just go back. I just go back on myself.
Perfect.
I just kind of like whoop, just barrel roll out of the way.
As you do, Niles, there's a sudden crackling sound, and your feathers feel this momentary tingle. You feel this almost like a rustle move through your feathers, and then there's a sudden flash of light. A moment later, you hear this as the stalactite behind you explodes, a bolt of lightning shooting from this creature's jaws and smashing into the cave ceiling. As you duck and dodge and weave, fragments of stone and rock pelt your wings from behind as you hear the rubble just drop from the ceiling above, smashing down into the ground. From behind you, its voice carrying in the eerie silence in the aftermath of this sudden explosion, you hear, "So it runs. The hunt begins." In Draconic.
Shit. I don't know what. Fuck.
I'm going to jump back to the rest of the party for a moment.
Yeah.
The four of you, I mean, Niles is going to go do a quick reconnaissance. What were the four of you going to do? Did you just want to hang out on the balcony till Niles gets back? Were you going to kind of just have a bit of a look around from the balcony? What was your plan?
Yeah, definitely seeing what I can spot from the balcony. Like, not wanting to go too far away from where we are currently.
Would you like to roll me a perception or investigation check, Lyra? Ember's going to help you with that. You may have advantage. Because Ember would do the exact same thing. Like 100%. Ember would be like, what do my Firbolg guys see?
17.
17. Lyra, as you gaze out across the city, I can see you were asking a question if Niles had noticed any skeletons, bodies, giant piles of poop. Someone's been watching Delicious in Dungeon. I'm on to you. Oh god, when's the next episode coming out? It's like Friday, isn't it?
Friday.
How are they gonna? How they found her skull, so I guess they can bring her back.
Yeah, I know.
Spoilers. It's brutal, man. Lyra, as you peer out into the gloom, you don't see any bodies scattered throughout the city. You don't see any signs of bodies, bones, but you do see signs of violence. Quick violence that has occurred here. Some of the buildings look like the doorways have been almost smashed in. This sort of circular, broken in hole, as if someone's taken a battering ram to the doorway, taken out the door and the actual frame, as well as part of the stone that holds it in place. Some of the windows on the upper floors as well. And whatever was in the rooms, it's just been dragged out and thrown into the streets.
I think as soon as she notices that, like, you know, sort of spidey senses kind of start tingling, and I think she's going to start trying to maybe round up the gnomes and the party members and just sort of be like, hey, like, we're keeping an eye out for Niles, making sure, you know, if he needs our help, that we're there to help him, but I think we need to get everyone ready to get back into the entrance that we just came into, like, get ready to reseal it, like...
Perfect.
We don't know what we're coming up against.
I think that's about 5 minutes. That's we're looking out for about 4 minutes, chatting to the gnomes. That's about 5 minutes, I reckon. That's about how long Niles had before we have the explosion. So I think that's perfect for Lyra. Threign and Bartholomew, what would the two of you be doing?
Bart was interested for quite a bit about the fact that Duragar were here. He still has that sort of side mission in his mind of something, honestly, he had given up on. He just wanted to get back to Satine. He wanted to get out of here. But having spoken to Threign has sort of reignited his want for a bit of get back at the shit that he went through. A bit of revenge, a bit of getting even for the shitness of life. And is instead, as the attack happened here, we've seen all the big things by something bigger, and we're like, what's that? I'm wanting to look at the small things to look if there's any leftovers of Duragar armor, any dead bodies that I might be able to try to pilfer from so that I could grab a missive, a note, a key. I'm taking a look at the little bits of rubble around the outsides.
Absolutely. Perception or investigation check, your choice.
Do an investigation. Not too shabby.
19. But there are no bodies of Duragar. There's no signs at all that you have associated with the Duragar and their violence. The walls that have been damaged, the doorways and everything, there's no cuts from an axe. There's no impact sites from a hammer. This wasn't Duragar. Whatever this was a lot bigger. And the weapons they were using must have been enormous if they were weapons. I mean, as you look at this kind of damage could only have been dealt by something really big or something wielding pretty powerful magic. Several somethings wielding pretty powerful magic. But whatever it was, it's left no scorch marks, it's left no burn marks.
I really don't like the stone giants. I don't have this whole surface world of the giants are actually good. No, fuck the giants. So I assuming it's the stone giants, first thing that comes to his mind. But what's, I guess, so many people were saying that the Duragar were besieging Blindenstone. The Duragar were taking slaves of the Swift Nerblin. But there are no dead Duragar. So something's not adding up together. Whether the giants acted as like a vanguard, but even if that was the case, battle is still chaotic. There should still be 1 or 2 dead bodies here or there, markings of their damages here or there. A raiding party would travel through and they'd still stab some people as they're making their way past. They would leave signs of them being here. I'll probably just be pondering that while
there may still be those bodies. The problem is there's none out in the open. That's the thing, right, Bartholomew? You can't discount that there could be people dead inside. I mean, as I said before, there are bloodstains across the thresholds of some of the buildings. There's signs of some form of looting that's been going on, but there's no bodies out in the open.
Soldiers would clean up their dead, and looters would pick and clean everything that they want. So I don't know. I'm going to be pondering what could possibly be happening over the 5 minutes, but that's the initial thing I wanted to look for.
And Threign.
It's a good question, actually. So obviously I was talking to the gnomes for a little bit.
You could have that be your 5 minutes if you wanted. Absolutely.
I think actually that makes more sense. As I was like talking to them, everyone else sort of going about and doing their things.
Perfect.
Because a lot of the parties covered a lot of the bases that Threign probably would have covered or would have done.
Yeah.
I guess like maybe I'll have a quick interaction with the gnomes. So I'm talking not to the one that's like breaking down.
Gook,
talking to the one that's a little bit. The other two that are a little bit more aware. So do you know anywhere in the city that maybe your people would have retreated to?
Yeah, there's a couple of like we call them like storming cellars. If like the stronghold was to be stormed, you head down and you hide out there. Sometimes, I mean, we've also called them vaults on occasion too. They're massive stone constructs beneath, like chambers underneath, ringed with metal and stone and hopefully impenetrable to anything that could get in. And if we were under attack, if we had enough warning and it looked like it was going to be bad, the people would retreat there as quickly as they could. And there's pathways all over. Like, it's not just one spot you'd have to retreat to. Every building has a secret entrance to it. Well, not every building, but like a lot of the buildings have a secret entrance to it. At least one on each block. Well, not each, but like most of the blocks have a secret entrance.
So I look at the one that's breaking down.
Gook is just
and so what you're saying then is most of the gnomes hopefully could be in this vault.
Oh yeah, I mean it's possible.
Most of them have retreated there.
If it looked like it was going to be bad and there was enough warning, yeah, most people would head down there. And I mean, normally we'd have some people on lookout in the tower.
Look, I'm not as learned as you folk seem, and I can't tell this, but can any of you see how long it might have taken for whatever it was to break through that gate? Do you think maybe, like obviously from where we are, it's not great, but can you see any resistances there that might have implied some form of a time frame that then could have given your people time to escape? Because surely they would have heard the banging.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, if that gate's so strong, no one's ever breached the gate of Blindenstone. I mean, they'd have to be, if it was the Deep Gnomes, the Dwarves, the Duragar, they would have had to set up massive blasting barrels. It would have taken them ages. We would have known. It would have been plenty of time to get below. Right, Gook?
See the one, and I look at the one that's crying.
Yeah.
Look, it's maybe not all bad. It could be either that everyone is alive or they're all dead. So
it's at that moment, Threign, that there's this bright flash of light and this enormous like, and then the sound of as rubble collapses from the ceiling. Lyra, right as you're turning to the others, be like, "Oh, I think we should head back inside, guys, and get out of the open." As you finish that sentence, that's when this explosion goes off. A moment later, you see Niles wheel around the side of the tower, almost crashing into Threign as he lands back on the balcony.
Yeah. I don't even like
mines as well, so it's definitely like echoing through the mine shaft behind us.
Yeah, I'm just like, fucking, we gotta go, guys. Oh, it's a dragon. It's long. It shoots lightning.
I haven't fought a dragon. This could be fun.
It's fucking huge, Threign.
Bart doesn't talk when he mentions dragons and we need to run. Bart is gonna grab. Is it? Goose has been the one helping me make things.
Gook, yeah, Gook has.
Gook. I'm gonna grab Gook and then just start running down the mine shaft.
Yeah.
She's also pretty sad, and she was the one having a bit of a moment. She does not put up a fight. As you grab her and just start running, you can see at the sound of the explosion, she's almost dropped into the fetal position. She's terrified.
Guys, why are you running? This is moment to prove our strength. I'm like torn. I'm looking at everyone running. I'm looking at the dragon.
So you can't. Threign hasn't seen it yet. You can't see it yet, Threign. All you've seen is Niles speed around, and you've heard the explosion and seen the
flash. I feel like that's worse because it's just like it's just curious to him.
Yeah. Ember's gonna sort of look at the gnomes and be like, I don't want to get the gnomes in trouble. He's gonna pick up Noose and head inside too.
No, but why you run?
Lyra.
I give Threign the most serious look I've ever given him before. And I go, if you have a death wish, you can stay here. I recommend we retreat.
Besides, won't the fight, the fight will take too long. We need to find Harry first, and then we can come back and try and fight it if that's what you really, really want to do.
So, yeah, Threign will look at the dragon, look back at, he thinks it's a dragon. That's why I keep saying dragon, because all he's heard is dragon. So he's going to look at where the dragon is. And when I say where, look, I'm just looking at where Niles came from and the explosion came from. So I'm going to look over there. I'm going to look at Niles. I'm going to look at Lyra. I'm going to look back at the dragon. He's going to have a huge, annoyed sigh, like, Harry is more important, let's go.
As you say that, Threign, and slowly start to... Yes, as you say that, you hear the sound of claws slamming into stone. And you hear the slithering reverberating through the tower.
Threign will stick, like, at the end of the day, he, like, actually, one of my characteristics is I look over everyone in my party as newborn pups. So Harry is one of them, so I think this is where his character trait would come shining in. He's not happy about it, because he's actually, everyone else is terrified. He's looking back with, like, sadness because he can't fight this thing right now. But he will follow the rest of the party, so he's going to follow right behind. He'll take up the rear, though. And he'll run along with everyone else.
Got the last gnome?
It's Gobbledy's running. Don't worry. Gobbledy, as soon as Threign walks through the door, Gobbledy slams the stone shut and turns the metal mechanism, locking the door in place. And you watch as the stone drops down about a foot, locking into position. Gobbledy looks back and goes, fuck, we can't fight a dragon in here. The city's going to be destroyed. But... I've always wanted to see a dragon. No, come on, Threign, we gotta run.
I've always wanted to fight one, so we should. Maybe me and you, we should go back, eh?
I choose life. I think I choose life.
Are you kidding? Get in the car!
I love the idea that Niles is the only one who's seen this. At this point, if Niles was lying,
sorry, Niles is shitting bricks.
Yeah, fuck I am. Niles is like, I want to be adventurer. Adventure's cool. It's fun. Everything so far has been pretty.
And then you fast forward to this moment.
A tasty morsel comes a fluttering.
Look, maybe if Niles had a little short rest, a little sleep, little 10-minute kip, he'd be feeling a little bit more optimistic.
Feeling some more pep in his step.
Yeah, literally pep in his step of the wind. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Nope. No way.
As you all begin rushing down towards the train station, you hear the sound of something smashing into stone, and the whole tower for a moment rumbles and shakes. The stairs kind of like shuddering underneath your feet, causing you to slip and stumble a little bit. As the gnomes look up, Noose, who Ember had grabbed, Noose sort of looks back and goes, "How big did you say this thing was?"
Well, it was huge, very big, very large. It took the door off your store, off your storeroom, your storehouse, and just flung it around like it was nothing. Ah!
Noose shakes his head and goes, "We can't fight that now. We're gonna have to come up with a plan. We can't just to face that in the open is suicide."
Yeah, it is.
Well, I don't know about that. You could turn back around and fight it.
Right?
Maybe? Okay, fine.
You don't understand!
Who else speaks Draconic apart from Niles?
Negatory.
Yes, actually, I also speak Draconic. The two Owlins.
Let's go.
I think I took it because when we were going over Nostea, the Dragonborns were close to the Ares nation.
That's exactly why I took it too.
Hey!
Chiari and the Ares theocracy have had very close relations for a long time. I mean, because the Dragonborn are probably the dragons and Dragonborn are probably closest in terms of the policies, I guess, and the way the cities kind of run to the Ares theocracy. In that the Dragonborn don't expand, they don't conquer territory, they basically like work with the dragons. Up until recently, kind of working for. There's now been a massive revolution that's taken place in Chiari. Now Dragonborn are represented in the Draconic Council, the Council of Five, along with the dragons. As a result of the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, the Dragonborn were given status and power. But yeah, I mean, there's always been a bit of a kinship between the Draconic nation of Chiari and the Ares theocracy. Partly because you guys are so close. I mean, the Shattered Isles is a short jaunt across the sea from Chiari. It's the closest point on that sort of western half of the globe to Chiari. So yeah, it makes perfect sense that your peoples have had a lot of exposure. Yeah. Bartholomew and Niles, you hear echoing out of the darkness. I love it when they hide. The rest of you hear Rosigorm, just echoing through the darkness.
Cool.
How wide is the mine shaft that I was the first to run down?
This one's a little bit bigger. This one's about 6.5, 7 feet tall because it is a spiral staircase in a tower heading up.
Oh wait, they're still in the tower?
You're running down the staircase towards the secret passage onto the train station once again.
Oh my god, fuck that. Okay, so we're not actually safe. I thought I was like, I'm imagining like solid mountain and I'm going through a tiny hallway that it's not.
Yeah.
No. You're running down a spiral staircase, feeling it shake and move, and Threign's still looking back and going like, oh, we could still fight that.
You're not,
Can
guys.
I
Like,
make
it's
some
not too
sort of
late
athletics
to
checks to
get some
start,
honor.
like start leaping down steps, slamming my body against shoulder walls, like some sort of
You want a Mario wall jump.
Yeah, well, no, foreign agent, like trying to get down a staircase as quick as possible, getting to the bottom, even
All right,
with
look.
not worrying about self-harm.
I'm gonna grab two of the I'm gonna grab any gnomes that are running because they obviously.
Goldie's the only one not being carried.
They won't be as quick as me. I move 40 feet.
Exactly.
So I just scoop them up and I just start sprinting. Like I realize, like, okay, fine. I guess we're not fighting the dragon guys and party poopers. And I'm gonna grab the gnome and just sprint as fast as I can. Grab even Lyra maybe on the way because I think you're probably about 30 feet movement. And I'm just gonna, because I'm pretty strong. Like, oh, and let me know if because like my carrying capacity, I should be able to carry both of them.
Oh yeah. Lyra's like 5 foot. She's tiny. But Lyra, you don't have to worry about because Lyra's made a different decision to get down the stairs.
Okay.
Bartholomew, could you please make me an athletics check? Lyra, I'm going to get you to describe what your plan is. Could you describe your plan?
Oh my god, people.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Look, I'll take it because I want to do this anyway.
Lord.
Oh
no! I was happy to put myself in harm's risk to get down quicker and get an important thing, and to get Goose down. Goose down quicker but safer. So if anything does go wrong, probably first instinct is my self-damage to keep Goose safe.
Yeah, it's a natural one. It does go wrong. Bartholomew, as you go to leap off the staircase, basically, so I imagine you're kind of jumping down rather than running. You're just jumping down from side to side to get down the staircase quicker, sort of like shoulder slamming into the wall.
Exactly,
perfect. Yeah. As you go to make the first jump, there's another collision with the tower above, and the ground underneath your feet shakes and gives way. And as you go to jump, there's nothing to push against. And as your feet push down, you just drop. You watch as Bartholomew clutching Gook. There's almost this moment where he hangs in the air for a brief second, eyes wide as he's ready to jump. And as his head starts to turn, he just vanishes from view, dropping down. Bartholomew, could you please roll me? Let me just quickly see the full damage for this one.
Oh dear.
Could you please roll me? That's that 3d6.
Oh.
It's not as bad as it could have been.
That's too bad.
I thought I was going to fall down the entire tower. 9 damage. I'm getting
Nine
At least you would
damage.
have got there.
I
You got there
rolled
and make
9.
it to the bottom.
Not too bad.
Is it 9 damage?
9 damage. Yeah, 9
okay,
damage. As you just drop, the momentum is still there, and you don't drop to the bottom of the tower. You smash into basically 2 stories down, smash into the entrance, partly because the wall has begun to cave in and is now blocking part of the staircase. As you slam into this section of stone, turning your back, trying to save Gook, I will get you to roll me a dexterity saving throw. I just want to know how much Gook is taking as you try and like pivot and roll in the air, because you're falling over the space of almost a second and a half. It's not a lot of time. Just don't roll another 1 and it'll all be okay.
13. I'm
That's
at
good.
1. You land
0.
on Gook. 13. You successfully managed to roll out of the way. Gook's only going to take 2 points of damage.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
As you, way less than it could have been. As you sort of roll and take the impact, the damage Gook takes is from slamming into you and your sort of metal half plate that you kind of wear underneath your robe, the chest guard that we have in your artwork, the salvaged Gloomforged breastplate.
Look, I know that this is probably going to be needed, but I just feel bad for the little girl, little woman, as she is in a bad place right now. It could be really important. I was saving 4 of my lay on hands for reviving 4 people with 1 hit point each, but I'm just going to use 2 of them to bring her back up to full. Are you okay? And just tend that wound instantly so that she's not in too much shock.
Yeah, it was more a concussion. As you sort of like look up and start casting magic, you can see she's like dazed a little bit, looking around. As you sort of place a hand upon her shoulder and begin channeling a healing magic through her, you watch as it takes the golden light filling her up, shining through her eyes for a moment. She blinks and goes, that was... I'm okay. I thought I...
You're fine. I've fixed it. We need to get going now. Are you... I'm going to give it like half a second to answer, like, I'm okay.
Fine. No, I'm good. Let's go.
Okay, and I'll grab her arm and start running beside her this time. It's
Perfect.
safer.
Lyra, what's your plan to get down? I read it in chat, and it really made me chuckle. I think you should share it.
Alright, so I'm assuming that Tim's just been sort of trailing behind Lyra
Yep.
as we've been running down the stairs. And she's essentially going to tell him to plank. She's going to get her shield that's normally just like on her left arm. Try and loop it sort of in front of his chest, hold on to each side of the shield, and she's going to try and
Cowabunga,
ride him down
dude.
the stairs. Not surfing, but like, like a snow
Oh my
sled.
Tobogganing.
God, that sounds so ridiculous.
like when you're a kid and you get like a skateboard, and so you like kneel on the skateboard to go down, because you're not comfortable enough standing up yet.
When you try and like go down the stairs like in a sleeping bag.
Yeah,
Like...
yep. Perfect. Now what the fuck am I going to get you to
this is
roll?
so
I think this
crazy.
falls under a dexterity saving throw, please. Would be the most
Yeah.
accurate one. What this is a quick aside, but what we used to do was you get like a skateboard, get the child booster seats, strap it to the skateboard, then ride it down a big hill at high speed. That's it.
That's cool.
The scar on my forehead is from that. If you were wondering.
Yeah.
I smashed into a garage door. There's no brakes, so just
Yeah.
15, Lyra. As you kneel on Tim's back, Tim has to follow your instructions. Tim just lies down as you kneel on his back. You loop the shield underneath, put the strap around his neck, and then hold on. And as you begin going down the stairs, you hear this from Neil. from Tim as you're kneeling on his back. I keep wanting to say his name's Neil. I don't know why. As you're like kneeling on his back, you hear as he goes down the stairs.
Oh man.
Could I get you to roll me a d6, please, Lyra? Just a little d6.
A little d6.
A little d6.
It's a little one.
Just a little one. 4. That's how much damage Tim is going to take from this. As you essentially tear sections off Tim's knees, you watch as one of his knee pads just gets torn off and flies back. You can see the plate, this bone-like plate, just get ripped free, tumbling back up the stairs behind you. And as you sort of like,
you another one.
As you look
Chaos.
behind to see it, you watch as he turns his head a little bit following your thing, and a passing section of like rock just takes his nose off. It's just gone. As you hear this, as you ride him down, you quickly
It was
catch up
this
with
or leave you to
Bartholomew.
be eaten by the dragon.
So
Yeah.
It would have been quicker. As he goes
they
down the
sort of, like,
stairs.
zoom past
Yeah.
me and Grook both getting split left and right of the staircase. Did you see that? What the fuck?
You watch as Gook sort of like touch your head and goes, I'm really sorry. I don't think your healing worked. I'm seeing things.
Maybe
Crazy things.
I'll feel for blood as well.
So, quick
Keep running.
question: for,
Yeah.
like, when Bart and when you fell,
He dropped 2 stories. He's almost at the ground floor. He's like a story
how-
up off the ground floor.
can I drop down too?
Yeah.
Oh, that hole that was created, you use it as like a shortcut?
Yeah. Do you want to roll me an athletics
I'm going
check?
So I'm going to grab the gnome I have, hold him in my arms like this. I'm going to rage, let out a bellowing shout.
Yeah. You grow in size.
Oh yeah, true.
That might be
Oh,
a
no.
problem.
Oh no!
I didn't think about that actually.
In the moment, I don't know if Threign would.
I don't.
As you...
No, let me have a look. I need to read how it interacts with things because
If it says
okay,
you may, you're okay. You
Yeah, I'll-
choose whether or
so
not you grow in
Or
size.
raising and if you're small than large and there is enough room for you to increase your size, you
You're good.
become-
You're good.
You're good.
You're
okay.
good. You're
So
good.
I think I would become.
There's this moment where
Yeah,
your
I'll-
body starts to swell, the ice growing across your form, the blue skin starting to take over, and then it sort of stops,
Close.
and then you shrink back down again.
That was close. That was close. I'm gonna let out a bellowing
God.
cry because I'm raging. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can chuck into this. No, I'm going to fall, like willingly, do almost like a superhero like fall, and
Oh, cool.
fall right near. I guess how far can I fall, Owen?
Without taking damage.
No. I mean, like, how far? How much is the actual drop?
So from here, if you were to drop all the way to the bottom, you're dropping 50 feet.
So is it?
1d6
What's that?
per 10 feet you fall.
I'm doing all 10. I'm doing all of it. 50 feet drop.
Bartholomew, as you and Gook sort of react watching Lyra ride zombie Tim past, you then, as you turn back, you watch this dark shape in a bearskin cloak just plummet past you, clutching a very terrified looking gobbler. Goes, I didn't sign up for this! As he sails past.
Because of how quick they probably go by, and I wasn't looking at that direction, I just see a shape fall down.
Yeah.
For a moment, Bart thinks that was the dragon, and maybe we're running in the wrong direction.
Oh no!
But
Just a quick
luckily, the
thought.
gnome like shouting his lungs
Yeah, the
out.
gnome
probably
shouting a little
alerts
high-pitched
bit.
voice clears up that instant fear of should I run back up.
So what's that, Owen? Should I roll 5d6?
Yes, please. Roll me
So
an athletics
16?
check too, please. I just want to see
Okay.
how bad it is.
16. That's
That's
divided. So I divide that by 2. So that's only 8
points of
damage. Actually.
That's less than
Yeah,
Bartholomew.
two.
That's
I
so-
shall do that
fucking
check.
barbarians, man.
18. So that's decent.
18, yeah. You superhero land straight down, clutching onto Gobbledy, who like screams for about 2 more seconds after you land, and it goes, ah!
Do you know that I didn't even need to use any of my actual HP? It was all temp.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Gobbledy slowly turns, looks back up towards you, sort of like spinning around in your arms. He goes, "You're lucky I don't need to change my pants right now. Fucking warn me next time."
At least there's not dragon breathing down your neck anymore, little one.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Niles just
I
flies
keep
down.
looking at-
Yeah.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
you can do that because you have wings. It's perfect. That
Ember,
actually
Ember
works
with
really
like noose tucked under one arm just runs down the stairs. Just. Do.
well. No, so I'll keep running to the train tracks or whatever and start getting it ready with the gnome I have to start getting it ready for transport.
Yeah, as Threign rushes ahead, you get to the entrance to the secret rail yard. Gobbledy quickly reopening it for you, and as all of you rush on in and disappear into the train tracks, the doors close with a shut behind you. The sounds of those crashes against the tower fading away as the stone seals shut. The sound reverberating through the stone, but not with that same echoing boom. Now it's only being transmitted by the stone and earth around you. As the silence sort of kicks back in again, you watch as Noose looks back up at all of you. Yeah, I don't think we want to fight that without some sort of plan in place. That's, what did it look like, lad? You said it was a dragon. Any more to go on?
Oh no, it was. Well, it certainly looks draconic, but it was long. It had like multiple limbs, like a millipede or centipede. It shot lightning. It just vaporized a stalactite up there.
Bahir.
Like it was nothing.
Bahir is what it's called.
The rest of us are allowed to do some sort of like a nature check just to learn stuff about it.
100%.
Bart wanted information, and if we're going to be having to come back to this place after Harry...
Yeah,
absolutely.
Would this be an Arcana or Nature? What do you think?
I'd say Arcana or Nature, and I'll give you different information based on what you roll.
Okay, I'm probably one of magical stuff personally. Never mind.
6. But what now? But who? But when? No idea. 14 for Niles. A Bahir. Niles, the name doesn't ring a bell. But that creature you saw wasn't too dissimilar to the lungworm, the large aquatic dragon that you saw, this long axolotl kind of like dragon. It also had multiple legs as well, finned legs with these webbed feet and webbed claws. It seems somewhat similar to that. And as you kind of reflect on that, I mean, there's something in your mind, something about calling it a dragon. You feel like that's partly correct, but there's also something else there, something about that connection with dragons. And you remember that for some reason, you would never find a Bahir near Chiari. You're not sure why you know that, but you do. You have that feeling you would never see one near Chiari.
right.
Yeah. While you all sort of take a moment to catch your breath, and then in the interests of making sure Dave actually gets to participate in tonight's session, rather than sitting there looking sexy.
Who's Dave?
Harry participates in tonight's session rather than sitting there looking sexy. We will jump ahead a little bit as you climb into the carts. Take Gook with you, Gobbledy and Noose staying behind, wanting to keep an eye out and do a little bit of a reconnaissance once things come down.
Okay. Good.
No, it's okay. We're not going to put ourselves in danger. We'll just stick to the secret tunnels. We're not going to go out in the open, and we'll not stray far from here. Trust me, I've got no interest in getting anywhere near a Bahir.
Good.
That thing can climb. It can dig. We want to stay away from it. As you all take the rail tracks, the pathway once again rickety, bouncing. The shock absorbers on these minecarts are almost non-existent as your spines begin to shake out of your torsos along the journey. That discomfort that you felt every time you've taken the rail tracks, this time goes for about an hour. And as you finally get to the edge of the track, having moved throughout caverns deep below the earth, Gook leads you towards the hidden door, and just before she opens it, turns back, sort of wiping away a tear from her eyes. And you can see that she's still pretty affected by what she saw back at Blindenstone. Yeah, so the tower's just down the pathway there. If you can't miss it. They normally keep it pretty lit up, but there's magic around it or something. But if you do get a bit lost, look for the Susa tree. It's big and white and blue and glows. It's not too far from that. If you just take this pathway, turn left as soon as you get out of the doors, you'll get there in an hour's worth of walking tops. Wait, did you say you were meeting your friend? Or you were trying to rescue your friend like at the Tower of Brilliance? Or is it like on the way? You said on the way, didn't you?
On the way.
Then
Yes.
I guess check left and right as you go out the doors. They might... Like this opens up onto a side path that then moves onto the main thoroughfare. So just we'll keep an eye out, and I'll be here. I'll put a marking on the door so that you can knock. And if you need to come back in, knock What should we do as a knock? Is there like a code you guys use? Knock like 1 2 1
Turn to
1
Niles.
2. Yeah.
Niles, I'm trying to think positive at the moment. Take my mind off of the Bahia. Does the Tempest Guild have a sort of like motto?
That's a very good question.
Should we make one? We're kind of like the marketing team now.
Niles, that is a good question. Does the Tempest Guild have a motto? You're a big fan of the Tempest Guild. Do you want to roll me a history check with advantage?
Yeah.
I will check for you. 6
Okay,
and
okay.
14. You're not really sure. You've seen the symbol. You've seen the badges that they sometimes that the members have, and each member has the original members all have kind of these like roughly home carved badges and home like set badges in metal, and they're kind of a little bit each unique, and that's a part of the special charm of the Tempest Guild.
Founding member, yeah.
Yeah, and along the bottom, you think there's some text. You can't remember what it says. Nah, I can't be that
I can't
important.
even. I can't even remember if we have an actual like motto.
Andrew said one in episode 3 or 4.
Holy crap, that was years ago now.
It was, which was never agreed as like an official motto, but kind of like a cool thing that he said one time. So I'm going to take it as that. There is no official
Yeah, no, that's
motto.
cool.
It's just
Okay.
like, yeah, this
Well,
is cool
maybe,
thing.
maybe we do like da 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 da.
That sounds good to me.
Ember sort of looks around and goes,
Is that really a motto? That was
Do you
just a series of noises.
I was going to say,
No,
the
no, but
simplest secret knock is just this, guys. Just one knock, you just go, and then that's it. Super
What if you
secret.
confuse that for a rock falling though?
Gotta ruin everything.
Maybe that's something Harry can tell us about when we go find him. He's very sneaky and knows all sorts of stuff.
No, but we need to.
I
We need to tell.
I need to know it now to let you
Yeah,
back
they
in.
need to know now.
Oh,
Because this is the whole point of doing this. It's very easy. Just do what the gnome said. We'll stick to that.
What about
You guys are you make complicating this too much. Harry could be dead by now, and he died because you guys were doing inane babble.
He makes a good point.
It's definitely
Yeah.
not because we don't looking to see.
Let's just do what gnome said and move on.
Fine. Threign.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, look,
Okay.
I had to give up fighting dragon for this.
You
I'm
have to give
telling
up
you, Threign,
stupid clapping.
You would have died. You would have died.
No, I would have
That
died.
thing was
without-
huge!
So it's okay.
My soul would be in Valhalla right now, sipping mead with Odin.
Yeah.
How dare you rob me of this honor? As Gook unlocks and opens the secret stone door, you watch as the rock face slides open, revealing a narrow pathway, slightly overgrown with these very scraggly, almost scorched and sickly zirkwoods, partially sort of half hiding this section of the wall. And as you scurry out and Gook closes the door behind you, it immediately vanishes into the rock face. You only know it's there because you just stepped out of it, but if you were to walk along this pathway, it would be almost impossible to know this was here, even if you had come out of it. It's very, very hard to see. As you step
Didn't
out...
you mark it with an X?
No, she hasn't marked it with an X yet. But she did say she would. I'm gonna retcon that. She like quickly moves out and like puts a scratch on a rock nearby, and then turns the rock upside down so this X isn't immediately visible. And goes, just check the rocks and I'll let you in when you knock. Perfect.
Thank you.
As you step out, you can see that the pathway leads to a much larger, almost stone gravel path. It doesn't look like it's been deliberately laid with gravel, but the natural landscape and the flow of water has eroded this stone channel that has gradually filled up with gravel. As you move out to this section, you can see it is looking down into a rather large chasm below, a series of boulders rising from the landscape around. In front of you, over towards the left, you can see this enormous tower rising up out of the darkness, lights glowing in many of the windows. And over towards the right of it, this enormous tree, its trunk wider than the width of the tower, branches reaching up and burying themselves into the ceiling above. Along its branches, you can see these blue leaves and purple-blue flowers blooming in the darkness. The white trunk almost ghostly and illuminated, lit with its own inner light, like how ghost gums are in Australia. They have that kind of like reflective oil coating, gives it this almost luminescent glow. Anyone who has a passive perception of 16 or higher, Lyra, you can see what looks like a stake or a pole driven into the earth down in one of these hollow depressions, up and away from the path, about 120 to 130 feet away from you. And tied to it is a furry shape. Harry, you've been blindfolded, a gag tied around your mouth for 20 minutes. But your ears are free, and you've heard this strange, almost like clicking noise occasionally coming from around you. It's hard to pinpoint with your eyes covered and yourself blindfolded, but you've heard this coming from the darkness. It's been spooky. The drow vanished as soon as they put the blindfold on you, disappearing away, their footsteps muffled and fading off. Do you want to roll me a perception or investigation check to see how much you glean from your environment?
Can do.
19, Harry. The clicks seem to be coming from the rock wall over towards your left. You got a bit of a glimpse of it as they marched you down into this kind of slot canyon. The rocky wall was covered in these like almost hollows, depressions and holes, giving it a kind of honeycomb-like appearance. You can pick up the sounds of something echoing as well. Sound of something slithering.
Oof. A big slithering or a small slithering?
Small slithering. As you hear the crack of lightning and hear this draconic voice cry out,
It's another
I am
one.
here. It's a me, Behir.
Behir is here.
Behir is here. Do you speak draconic, Harry?
No, I do not.
Then you hear Raskot Gorm Bigondarm. No, you don't hear that. You just hear this
Damn,
like
you do that
gentle
well.
slithering. Thank you.
Harry sobs.
Tip my hat.
Can I tell which direction the drow went? Was it all directions? or
As
was it-
they started walking away, it looks like they went in two main directions away from you. The direction you're facing, it sounded like maybe one or two of them headed in that direction, and directly behind you, it looks like they were avoiding the walls on your left and right, sticking to the open area of the slot canyon, and yeah, walking back along that pathway, avoiding the walls, getting too close to them. Yeah, with the 19, yeah, you definitely get that. You glean that.
Cool. Well, Harry can't do anything. He's tied up. He's gagged. He's blindfolded. He'll
Harry,
fill his ears.
just have a quick double check. How many levels of Warlock do you have?
One, I believe.
Oh, bugger. Okay, that's not
Yes.
as helpful. So you can't quite summon your blade to your hand just yet.
No, I cannot.
That's a shame.
Yep.
In that case, Harry, you are going to hear, in this moment of desperation, sensing your fear. Actually, that's a good question. How scared, how desperate is Harry in this moment?
Oh, I mentioned earlier he's sobbing. It's actually like a whimper. It's
Oh,
like,
okay.
Oh, Harry!
But he's gagged, so it's actually like.
Oh no.
Which is attracting the predators more. It sounds like some sort of wounded
Oh, God,
animal.
it's worse.
No. Harry.
But you're not
let's
wrong either, though. That's the thing.
begin.
100% how it works.
Yeah.
It's this the other duck.
Harry, in this moment of panic, in this moment of fear, could I get you to please roll me a spellcasting check, a d20 plus your spellcasting modifier? So it'll be as if you're doing a spell attack.
Charisma. Okay, so.
Yeah, do it as if you're doing a spell attack.
Okay, I'll just roll an Eldritch Blast.
Perfect.
A
12.
12.
Harry,
5 plus 7. Yeah, 12.
there's kind of calm serenity. Just at the back of your mind, most of you is terrified. Most of you is looking for an escape, writhing against the bonds, trying to pull your hands free, trying to move your mouth around to spit this gag out. And you can feel it moving a little bit. The way your lips work are like a rabbit's. You've got that split lip, and you have a much more mobile lip than any ape person or like an elf. You do think you could try and wiggle that free. But there's also something else, a presence, this calm quiet. And just as you begin to notice it and realize that there's a part of you that isn't scared at all, you feel a soft pulse, a vibration from your right hand.
Harry tries to stomp his foot, but he can't. And then he focuses on his right hand, just trying to remember the feeling of when he went to that place last time. And if it's similar to the feeling of when they used the hurt staff to go and look at the archives, really.
Yeah. I'm happy to start calling it Heartstone now. Now that you know what Hjartstav means in Giant, you can start calling it the Heartstone. Harry, as you focus, it's not very hard to imagine that strange, almost inverted, dark place. Your vision obscured, covered by this thick cloth. You very quickly find yourself able to picture it again in your mind, the darkness. And as you look down at your feet, you see that perfectly reflective silver lake stretching out before you. The sky above pitch black. The horizon, this bluish, almost aqua light glow. All around you, coming from everywhere and nowhere. And as you look down at your feet, once again seeing yourself reflected, you instead see a figure. A large, orange glowing eye in the very center of this almost circular spherical body. Wires and cables and cords wrap around it, and you can see that they disappear, almost merging with the silvery lake itself. And as you step back, you watch as this reflection moves closer to the surface and begins to break through. As it does so, you can see the body of this creature is long, interconnected segments of metal, and almost what looks like this polished wood or stone, maybe even petrified wood, this strange shiny appearance, obsidian veins running through it. And as this long creature, the head of which rises above, you almost get this kind of serpent-like vibe from it, this spherical head with a single glowing eye. And as it looks towards you, and the eye shines upon you, feel this warm orange light.
Yeah, so I didn't dream this last time.
Correct. This is no dream.
Yeah, well, this is much more terrifying this time since I don't have any brain damage. Yeah, can you help me?
Help. Entity can help. Yes. Confirm.
And what would the entity like in return for the entity's help?
Destruction imminent? Query.
This entity's destruction seems quite imminent, yes.
Help will be provided.
For free?
You watch as the sphere turns a little bit, the eye gazing upon you, but you hear no other sound.
Yep, yeah, okay, cool. Fair enough. We'll figure it out later. Yeah. That sounds good. How are you gonna help?
There's no reply. Instead, as you look down at your hands, you feel the sudden momentary vibration, and you watch as the energy of an eldritch blast begins to build up in your hand, where you have the Heartstone embedded into. The glow is suffusing. You feel this energy suddenly build up within you.
Harry focuses on building it up more and trying to focus it into something he needs to break his binds.
Harry, could you roll me another Eldritch Blast, please?
I sure can. 16.
Just out of interest, I was going to try and quickly put on this voice filter when I spoke in this voice. If I do this, can you guys hear it and does it sound good? Speaking like this, can you hear that?
We can.
You can hear it, but it's just your voice with a bit more background sound.
Damn it. That's right. I'll play around with the... That's okay. I'll play around with the vocal thing. It's sort of...
It's no more creepy than your normal voice.
Thank you. Oh, fantastic. Harry, 16. As you concentrate...
You're on mute, by the way, if you said something.
Yeah, it sounds like you're talking in the other room. That's what it sounds like.
That's shit then. Please, I didn't do it. I was going to, and I was like, I haven't quite tested this and got it working. So, please, I didn't do that. As you
quickly, if you want to test our voices, we can do it before or after the sessions, if you like.
I know. I didn't think Harry would be speaking with his patron tonight.
That's very fair.
That's a good point.
Neither did Harry.
No, that's fair. Harry, as you release the energy, immediately you feel the ropes, whatever these things are, these like chitinous ropes, you feel them splinter and shatter off you. With your hands bound behind your backs pointing downwards, the energy also goes down into the ground. With a 16, the bonds around your legs shatter as well that were tying you to the pole. You feel this sudden smashing and release of tension. And as you stumble forwards and land heavily on the ground, you're no longer bound to the pole. Your arms and legs still, you've got sections of rope hanging off them, but they're not attached together anymore. For those of you up on the cliff, you watch this as well. You see this sudden burst of purple energy, and then suddenly this figure slump forwards onto the ground. About 130, 140 feet away from you, down into a slot canyon.
How much consciousness do I have?
How much what, sorry?
Consciousness, am I awake or am I just...
Yeah. As you you come back into consciousness, you come back into the real world, out of this sort of vision scape that you see as you release the Eldritch Blast energy.
Harry quickly removes his gag and blindfold as fast as he can.
Harry, as you rip them off, looking around hurriedly, you can see in the dull gloom of the Underdark shapes moving in the walls. These slithering, almost worm-like creatures writhing as they emerge from the honeycomb-like holes in the slot canyon walls.
Oof.
These Gricks?
Yeah. Yep.
Uh-oh.
Also, when would we see the figure moving in the post furry, just away from Harry? Can I assume that all of us, while he's doing roleplay, are running now?
I'm assuming that, yeah.
Because we've seen Harry cast Eldritch Blast before, right?
So Lyra is the only one Lyra sees this first with a passive perception of 16. She's the one who points it out to you guys. And as you see this blast of energy and the figure slump forwards, I'm going to say at that point,
because Lyra would have seen Eldritch Blast before from the other campaign. Yeah, nice.
Because Harry has never cast Eldritch Blast in front of you guys, has he?
I don't think he has.
Or maybe once.
I'm not sure.
But I think he was also not in front of everybody.
No.
I'm honestly not sure if he has.
Harry's been trying to keep his warlock powers secret.
Yeah.
And I think
he's moving blade a few times.
Yeah.
He's been using moving blade a couple times, but
yeah. But that's not overly crazy magic. It's not a giveaway that you're binding your soul into a contract with some eldritch being.
Oh, Harry doesn't even know he's binding his soul. He's just going along with it.
So I love the idea of Harry's patron is very clearly at this point you figured out it's a bit more technologically based. It's just that Harry's been clicking I accept on the terms and service without reading it every time, and that's the warlock contract. Is just a terms. It's literally just the iTunes terms of service, and he just goes accept. That's right. You're going to be a nice Sentai pad.
Nobody ever reads this.
So Owen,
so many words.
When we arrived to the cliff, we looked down at Harry. How immediate did the Eldritch Blast happen?
So Lyra sort of, as you emerge onto the edge of this kind of slot canyon looking down, the pathway where you are, imagine, so the way it's kind of designed with where the canyon is, there's these sheer walls on either side, and the canyon opens up and gradually sort of forms these rampways down into it, these natural inclines on either side, and you're at the top of one of these inclines. So you're not going to be jumping down a canyon or anything to get to Harry. It's about 80 feet below you, and Harry's about sort of, I mean, Harry's about 130, 140 feet away on the like triangular, so as you head down and forwards. The walls on either side rise up, about 80 feet from the bottom of the canyon. They're level with you when you're at the top of the canyon. It's just this sort of flat space as you look across it. As Harry activates the Eldritch Blast, Lyra had already just started to go like, oh, what's that?
Okay.
Lyra.
So this is all happened pretty quickly then for us. Like, we've come in, seen Harry, seen there's some form of a trap that's been set. Maybe not a trap, but he's obviously been put in some precarious.
That was obvious bait. That was absolutely obviously bait.
But that's what I'm thinking. Because then we might we probably would have slowed down to. But then this has happened so quick, the Eldritch Blast, that this has all just happened without even really any thought.
Yeah.
Okay, and then with all the other shapes moving in the background, I'm just trying to think how I would react to this.
Well, I'll describe what you guys see a bit more. You see, like, when Harry, like, removes the gag, or you see the figure when it removes the gag and the blindfolds. You know, like, a dog, when it's got its head stuck in a bag, and it finally gets it out, and just kind of looks around, shakes it off, and then walks away. That's kind of what Harry does, except he sloofs and tries to stealth. I know he has good disadvantage because he's exhausted. Towards the direction where he had less drow going. Which
towards
I think
the party. Towards the party. Yeah. Oh no! If you wanted to head in the direction no drow went, that's towards the cliffs, towards the honeycomb holes. But I'm guessing you're not heading that direction. It's where the less drow.
Yeah.
I think the correct
towards the party.
Or the things moving in the background.
Yeah, I'm not going towards these creepy things on the walls that make slithery sounds. Harry has big ears,
as you look over in the corner.
And I think Harry's scared of things crawling into his ears. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So with that, then, with all that happening so quickly, and not really have any time to like plan anything, Threign at least is going to bound forth, going as hard as he can to get to Harry as quick as he can.
Perfect. Lyra,
so I'm going to throw a caution to the wind, stealth to the wind. I'm just going to hit it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, as soon as she sort of notices sort of this obvious kind of trap-looking thing, she's probably, sort of going to poke the others, point them out, and goes, probably a trap. They're probably like waiting for us. And as soon as she sort of notices this, she's going to send Tim out to sort of either go down, go around, if it's that sort of like an option, like, and just see if like she can get them to like, go, oh, who's this person coming to save Harry? Attack him.
So sending Tim into the slot canyon towards Harry, basically just as forward guard. As Threign, I'm guessing, dashes off, Tim sort of shuffling along after him.
Yeah, I'm going to dash off like full speed.
Perfect. Ember's
like,
going to...
Because I do have wisdom about Threign. There is, like, because obviously when we did the other encounter with the camp and stuff, like, but this is caution to the wind. That's been that's gone. That's
Plus,
gone. We can't plan anything. This is going
You're feeling pretty courageous. Like, you were willing to take a dragon on, and like, so like.
Yeah, and I did a 50-foot like Marvel hero like fall. So
you feel it,
and I see Harry. I want to save my friend.
Yeah.
So I'm leading the charge. I'm going down. Caution to like being thrown, and I'm sprinting down. So if anyone wants to join me, by all means, fall in line.
I think Niles probably wants to run and also go to Harry, but probably looks back at Bart, actually, realizing that Bart has quite the analytical and strategical mind, which has served him well, and has served him well in the last couple of days that we've known him.
They look, it served the party well, too.
Yeah. So I sort of like, I begin to run, but I kind of look back at Bart and I say, what do you make of this?
So the scene we see down in front of us, just to reiterate, we've got the bait in the center of like an open pit.
Yeah. So imagine a long, I guess slot canyon is the best way to describe it. So it's about 200 to 300 feet long. 200 from the bottom of the rampways up, 300 from the top of the rampways. The rampway is about 50 foot as they come down in on either side. The walls are about 80 feet high, and the middle section, this flattened section, imagine almost like a riverbed. A river has come along and carved out a section of the landscape, leaving this like flattened canyon in the middle. It's about 60 feet wide, and so about 60 and then up to 80 at other parts, because it's not perfectly even, right? It's a bit rough and messy, but sort of between 60 and 80 feet wide, 80 feet down, and then, 200 to 300 feet long, depending if you're at the top or at the bottom.
Okay, and that's the walkway we're on, or that's where Harry is?
You're at the top looking down into the canyon. Harry's in the middle of the canyon, and the walls of which
So
have
he's on this same walkway.
And the walls have the honeycomb stuff too.
Yeah, so Harry's down at the bottom of the rampway down into the canyon. Harry's about 120, 150 feet away from you.
But there are high points on either.
No, sorry, Harry's a bit less, because Harry's a bit more in the middle, and so Harry's actually closer to about 100 to 120 feet away from you, because he's right in the middle. You guys are at the top of the rampway down into the canyon, and he's below.
There are vantage points on either side of the cliff going down the ramp.
As we're running, we obviously know we have, just like the Drow have information, we have information. So I won't worry about, I guess, being stealthy at this point. We're still a bit of a distance anyway, so I'll shout to Niles and to the rest of us. Most likely going to be inside the honeycombs. Also would make sense for the archers to be on top. Would be a good idea for Niles. You go up, the rest of us possibly go below. We're going to need light ember. And obviously we saw them already using illusion and invisibility magic, so don't trust your eyes.
Ember's going to nod and then point towards the top of the canyon and go, I'll run around the top and rain fire from above. Thumbs up.
I take the opposite side to where Ember goes and says,
Did you also mean for him to use the drift globe?
Yes. Yeah, he could throw the drift globe out. Ember absolutely could.
Boom, yeah.
So him on the drift globe on one side, raining light down from above, so it should illuminate everywhere. Niles on the other, and obviously Ember can shoot to help Niles. Niles can fly to help Ember, and then I guess the other three of us in the middle.
Remember, Ember can teleport. If Ember gets in trouble, Ember can teleport using.
Yeah, he's got some good movement shenanigans.
Ember can get out of Dodge by teleporting to Flicker. Whenever Ember's in trouble, Flicker's gonna get Ember out of there.
For the three of us, a lot of the training that I had in the temple with the interception is about the sort of like monk-ish hoplite wall, the sort of like Chinese shield defense, but without the shield, using weapons instead to parry the blows. So I'm going to call Threign, you and me up front, getting in close and personal, and we'll form a bit of a shield with you staying close behind us to rain down spells and heal if possible.
Well, I guess the thing we have to figure out is. Sorry to cut you there short.
Yeah. That's
How
okay.
far have I been able to run now, Owen?
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, I'll get to that.
Off.
I'll get to that. We'll go through Bart's talking to the rest of the party first, because you are getting, because you're dashing at this point.
Because if I'm close enough, then I can do that. But if I'm already too far gone, then I probably can't.
I reckon you're way out there.
This is more than 6 seconds.
Probably.
You've heard the first 6 seconds of this, and you're gone. So, in terms of you hearing the rest of the plan, I mean, Tim's not hearing it either, so you're not alone.
Well, that's okay. I will just shout to Lyra. I'm going to catch up to Threign and get beside him. You stay about 15, 20 feet behind us. Don't go too far back to try to use ranged spells in case we need some more healing like last time. Their daggers fucking hurt.
Ember's going to look at you, Lyra, and go, we should stick together. That way I can get you out of trouble and you get me out of trouble. Niles can fly, but you and I are going to we have to move quick. I can teleport. So let's you and I stick together. Spellcasters.
Hey, you and me both.
Druids.
Spellcasters unite.
Druids. It does a fist pump for druids. Perfect. As you guys begin rushing off, Threign, you are already up to Harry. Harry, as you begin to try and stealth away, I mean, you're doing your best, but there's not a lot to hide behind. This is just an empty, desolate canyon. Dust and sand lining the bottom, gravel where water once flowed through here. And as you begin sort of shuffling along, Harry, you can actually see there are holes in the ground too, honeycomb-like holes, where water clearly once drained out and this lake bed dried up and this river dried up because the water had to have escaped somewhere. And as you begin sort of moving along, trying to avoid them, you can see Threign running towards you at high speed.
That's what I was about to say. I'm gonna say, Harry, come over here now. Come.
You don't have to tell me twice. Harry runs.
Perfect.
So the moment I do catch up,
in the area.
the moment I catch up with Harry, I'm either going to jump in front of him, causing almost like me to be a shield, and then I'm going to start backing up with Harry to start.
So keeping Harry back towards the direction you've run.
And then we're going to start going back to where I came from, so we can reconnect with everyone else.
Perfect.
Because
I'm
it's
gonna.
probably good to have a united front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can Harry
Yeah?
be watching for any arrows that might be shot with poison in them, for example? From
Absolutely,
Well,
Harry.
and Harry warns. I'm so sorry.
Threign.
Harry warns Threign about
Sorry,
drown poison arrows. Drown with poison arrows.
Don't worry, the one we fought them before.
Harry and Threign. As the two of you, Tim, how fast does Tim move? 20 feet?
Yeah, he's really slow.
So Tim's a little bit behind, but Tim's getting his
You
way there.
allow me, Owen, as well.
Yeah.
When I do go to present myself as a shield, can I let out a bellowing shout and rage to make
Sure.
myself even larger to protect
Yeah, sure.
Harry?
So at this point, Threign, you're sort of, you've got up to Harry. Harry was about sort of 10, 15 feet in front of the pole where he'd been tied up. And as you get to in line with him, help him to his feet, push him behind you, keeping an eye out, using this sort of moment to grow in size as your muscles stretch, your skin taking on the much more frost giant blue hue, the ice growing across your face and up onto your scalp. You can see, Threign, the walls of this slot canyon, wriggling worm-like creatures, more than a couple, on either side, beginning to drop just onto the ground and then pause for a moment and then rapidly start darting towards you.
Yep.
As you turn and go to run, there is, so for Bart, Niles, Lyra, and Ember, you're a bit further away because Bart, I'd probably say Bart catches up to Tim pretty quickly. So Bart's in line with Tim as this happens. Niles, Lyra, and Ember. Niles in the air, Lyra and Ember making their way up around the edge of the slot canyon. You watch as in front of Harry and Threign, there is a sudden burst of this strange, almost like bluish green light. And then you watch as tendrils of mycelium split through the ground, reaching up in this enormous range across the slot canyon, grabbing at Threign and Harry's feet, creating this writhing mass of moving, grasping tendrils of mycelium. Harry and Threign, you watch. What was that? Sorry, Lyra?
Yeah, I hope that was Lyra.
Lyra's like, I want to learn that. It's pretty cool. As these whipping masses of mycelium begin to try, essentially grab Harry and Threign, the two of you can only watch on in horror as these worm-like creatures begin moving through the mycelium, not that impeded by it at all. And right as they're about to get up to you, there's a sudden piercing whistle that rings out, echoing through the canyon. All movement stops. The worms cease, turn, look up towards the source of the noise, and then slowly lower down, shying away from it as if expecting pain. Lyra and Ember, two of you are the first to spot as you run up the side of the slot canyon, staying at the upper level. You watch as a figure appears out of nowhere, suddenly becoming visible. A drow woman, her hair tightly bound into a tight braid at her back, dressed in this very elegant, strange chitin armor, holding a silver whistle up to her lips that she slowly lowers and tucks back into her breastplate. You watch as she slowly lowers her hand, laying it down onto a very familiar-looking rapier, Harry's rapier. And as she gazes across all of you, seeing Bartholomew and Tim still rushing up towards the edge of this difficult terrain, well, I think we all have a lot to talk about. That is where we're going to wrap up for tonight.
Yeah.
One thing, I know you said wrap up.
Yeah.
Well, just before I forget.
Yeah.
Can we play for another half an hour?
Before we wrap up. Yes.
Before we wrap up, can we just play?
You specified the worms looked to the source of the noise. Did they look at where she is actually standing?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very, very good question. Yes, they did. And
Sure
they seem to be shying
he's
away
standing
from
here
that.
and they looked up that way. No more illusion bullshit.
No.
Okay.
They're actually shying away from the source of the noise, moving back from that direction where she's standing.
Okay. I'm content for now.
Perfect. For now.
For
Hard to
now.
please. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed our Return of the Giants session. I have had a lot of fun tonight, and we did get some Grick. I know Christian was keen on some Grick in Blindenstone. Grick aren't enough for Blindenstone. It's got to be something interesting, something challenging. And what I was trying to think, what's one of the most underused Underdark monsters? A Behir. I have never seen a Behir used in any adventure ever. And they're fantastic. They're so interesting. The knowledge of them and how they work and their relationship with dragons, really cool. I wish I'd used one in Tyranny of Dragons. Actually, no, I don't, because now I can use it now, and it's way cooler. So I'm super happy. Yeah, no, I'm very, very stoked. I always wanted you guys to have a really cool.
I thought it was going to be like a ton of them in like the ruins eating at dead bodies like vultures, because Gricks are very scavenger-esque.
Yeah, that was one of the things I did consider. But when Harry was taken by the Drow, because originally I did consider having basically Blindenstone taken over by a hive of Gricks in the ruins of the building, exactly as you predicted. But when Harry was taken, I'd also had this other idea about, well, what if the Drow had used Pavlovian conditioning to essentially create the perfect trap, where you have basically a slot canyon with one way in, or one or two ways in or out, and they are in control of the Gricks that emerge from the walls. They've chucked prisoners here to feed them. They've chucked people they don't like here. Like, it's been an ongoing thing. And I was like, that'd be a really, really cool encounter. And so
that's insane that they set this up. Like, but like I buy it because, I mean, they're pretty impressive. They're like professionals and they've been around for a long time.
Man, it's such a Drow thing to do too.
It so is. It's so in line with
such a Lolth Drow thing to do. The Darmirian Drow wouldn't do it, but the Lolth Drow, fuck it. The only thing that's wrong with this is it's not spiders. And I did consider something spider-like, but the Grick is such a classic Underdark creature. I couldn't do it. And you guys have fought spiders.
Honestly, they probably revere spiders a little bit more.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
The Grick, for them, it's just a
it's
tool
an honor.
to be
It's an
using.
honor to be fed to a spider. This is for the low. This is for the
it's
scum.
just Gricks.
And I like to think like they're so far away from their home that like it makes sense for them to just do with what they got. And like, you know, if they've got a colony of Grick, well, you know, they're already set up home in this perfect position to, you know, ambush and interrogate people. It's like, well, may as well go with it, right?
Makes a lot of sense. Well, look, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It has been lovely to have you here once again. We will be back next Wednesday for more Return of the Giants. I'm excited to have the party no longer split.
Good.
Once in one dream.
Message received, I hope. And I'm excited for unity heading forwards. If you're listening to this on the podcast, amazing. Thank you so much. If you can leave us a review, that would be awesome. It does really help out with the Spotify algorithm. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know how to appease the YouTube algorithm. We all do. Hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment. Tell me, have you ever fought a Behir? Or is this the first time you've ever heard of that monster? If it's the first time you've ever heard of it, I mean, that's amazing. And also, I'm stoked that you get to hear about it now because it's a cool monster. If you're a DM, throw it at your players. If you're a player, ask your DM to throw one at you because they're cool as shit. And if you could also hit the subscribe button, it would be a massive help to all of us. But for all of us here tonight, that is all we have. If you're watching on Twitch, we are going to go and raid another lovely channel. Let's quickly see who we've got. It looks like I always like to help out people who we know if we can, but no one
Crit
really...
and Miss are actually chatting at the moment.
They are. Crit and Miss are. It is just chatting. Are they doing... Oh, look, it's Critical Conversations. We're definitely going to go raid Crit and Miss then. I wondered if they were doing like a prep session, but we're definitely going to go raid Crit and Miss. That is loaded up. We will jump across to Crit and Miss, so don't go anywhere, lovely Twitch people. But everyone else, stay safe, stay well, and we will see you all again really, really soon. Goodbye, everybody. Bye!
Good night!